Hi everybody, hope that you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be sharing a testimony. I'm just being obedient and Jesus wants me to share this video. I've been actually trying to share this video for about a year because it's not easy for me and it's not something that you hear every day. Well, I haven't. And it's something that I'm like really embarrassed about, and I don't like talking about it. But when you go through stuff in your life and you go through it for a reason so that you could help somebody else. So my testimony is going to help somebody else, and I've actually helped out friends that went through a similar situation. And I have to make this video because this video is also going to set me free, and it's been weighing heavy on me. So here goes. And I would just ask, like, it says in the Bible not to judge, and not to judge people on their past experience. And I'm just being obedient by God to share this, and I had to go through this for a reason, and I'm not trying to insult anybody here. I'm just going by my experience and what I went through. Okay, so when I was in high school, um, I was around a lot of multicultural people. Um, I went to a Catholic high school, and we had people of different religions. And I've always been the kind of person that was always wanted to explore and was always curious about other cultures and other religions. So I had a group of friends that were a different religion. They were Muslim. And I would see them with their books, their Qurans, and they would be praying. They would have their carpets with them. And it was my first time experiencing that, having friends of that culture. So, I thought it was interesting. So I got my hands on an English Quran and started reading it, and I got heavy into it. And by the time I was 18, I was eventually converting over. And I converted over to Islam. And And I remember when I told my mom, like, she was so upset. My aunt was so upset. Like, all of my family members are so upset. Like, I grew up, I should have said this in the beginning. I grew up as a Roman Catholic. And, um, you know, I don't want to say a strict Roman Catholic because I'm not like a religious person. I just love Jesus. But like, it just wasn't a good thing to do. And I remember my mom saying, like, oh, you can't turn your back on Jesus and it's not good. And I said, no. I said that the Quran in Islam was the only way. And I was like, and then I left. And I remember going to my friend's house, and there was this chin-up bar, and it was like maybe like 8 feet up, high, way up. And I remember after I said that to my mom, like, Islam was the only way, I pulled myself up and I slipped, and I literally fell from like high up from there. And it crossed my mind, I'm like, maybe this happened to me because I said that, like, and I shouldn't be doing this. Like, it crossed my mind, and I'm like, oh no, it's fine, because I was like really stubborn. So I was reading, I had this English Quran, and I was like reading it all the time. And then I had the scarf, to when you pray, you cover yourself, and I had the carpet to pray and everything. Like, I would say the words, and I had the beads. I was doing everything. Like, I was heavy into it, okay? I was going to the mosque. I was like I would put the scarf on my head, and in the summertime I would wear long sleeve shirts like this, but a little bit heavier, and black pants. And I would never wear shorts. Nothing. Never went to the beach or anything. Gosh, I'm so embarrassed that I did this. So anyways, my friends, my other friends from high school, the ones that are Christian, would come over, and their dad was he was a musician at the church. So I was kind of still going to church while I was doing all of this still, because they would invite me and I would still go to the church. So one day, they were waiting for me in the living room, and I'm like, I have to go in the bedroom and pray. So I put the carpet down and I put the thing on my head or whatever, started praying, and I started feeling this really demonic energy around me. And I felt something really, really demonic around me, and saw something really demonic. It was like almost like a witch that had like a brown scarf on her head, just like staring at me. So I ran out of the room and I told my friends, and I was like shaking and everything. And my friends kind of chuckled and laughed. And my friend's dad said, I think that it's time that you stop doing this. And it kind of shook me a little bit, so I stopped for a while, and then I ended up going to church that night with them. And a week later, I went back to it. And I remember when I started reading the Quran, everything was always like backwards. Like even when it was in English, like you always had to read from right to left. We're always like left to right, right? So I started getting that feeling again, and I started having like heavy anxiety, and I did not feel right. Like I felt like there was something really bad, really demonic around me. So I closed the book, I stopped reading it, and I'm like, why am I feeling like this? If this is something good and it's a religion, why am I feeling this way? So I stopped. I did not read it anymore. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something, is that as a female, reading that, it's like everything was about rules, and it was not about spirituality. Everything was about, now that I'm older and I can recognize all of this stuff, everything was about male dominance. Like most of it. Like, I'm not here to insult anybody's religion, but I'm just going to say that this is not the way. Islam is not the way. It's not the truth. It's just totally demonic. And when I was reading it, I would question myself, like, why is there so many rules, like, on women, how they have to be? And I was brainwashed as a female, and I was wearing that scarf on my head. And, that's not how God created me. God didn't create me to put my scarf on my head, or any woman to put a scarf on their head, to get brainwashed, to believe that you need to be elegant, or you need to respect yourself, because that's what they'll always tell you. The females will always say, oh, you have to respect yourself for your husband. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't wear that. Some people can't even show their hands. And it's like, you're insulting God's creation as a woman. I'm not saying to go out there and walk around with like a bathing suit, but to do all of this for a man, for your husband, it is so wrong. Like, and I would talk with people that would say, oh, they have to do that for their husband because the man will lust, right? But now that I'm older, you just have to, like myself now, if I could go back then to that time, I would say, what about the man? Like, why don't they cover up? Like, I'm sure there's women that lust too, and why don't they preserve their self for the man? And the man is allowed to marry up to 7 wives. A lot of them don't, but they're allowed to lust. The men are allowed to do so much more, and like they'll just brainwash the woman saying, no, you need to, like, be elegant, and as a lady you have to cover yourself. And this is so wrong. It's such an insult to God's creation. That's not how God created us. And I'm just gonna reference to Psalm 146. Yeah, Psalm 146. Do not put your faith into man or a prince. I like using this a lot. So basically, it's a sin when you're like worshiping your husband basically over God, and Jesus is the only way. So this is unraveling that I was going through, and when I would walk into the mosque, um, it was just like a dull feeling. There was like no spirituality, and like men go on this side, women go on that side. And if you are like if you're not covered or you're not like dressed the way that they want you to, it's like you're basically like a sin, and everything is just all about the men. And I don't care what anybody says, they'll try to lie or manipulate, but that's how it is, because I was heavy into it growing up. I'm European, and I grew up as a Roman Catholic, and that's what I had to see for those couple years that I was doing that. So after that, like, I started going back to the church, and I got away from that. And there was just, while I was reading that Quran and while I was practicing all that, I'm telling you, like, stuff would happen to me more. It's almost like I know Jesus is always there, but I just didn't feel like as protected. I didn't feel that spirituality. Everything was just dull, and it was about rules, and it just wasn't loving. It was not loving at all, like, I'm telling you this, like, it was so weird. And it just didn't feel right. So long story short, one day, my uncle, he was like heavy into Christianity, but he was a charismatic Christian where they lay hands on people and you get healed. He reminded me, and this was, sorry, my camera died. Of course it is, because the enemy doesn't want me getting this word out. So my uncle said to me, and this was like a couple years later, and I was going to church, but he told me, it's like, you have to get baptized again because you did, convert, and you have to give your life to Christ again. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So when I went, they put me in the water and they gave me a Bible, and that feeling, I can't explain that feeling. I just felt like I got myself back again. Like, it was just like something that was missing from me for like maybe like 7 years, because I didn't unravel all of that in the right way by getting baptized again. I was just going to church, and I felt great. I felt loved. I felt amazing. Like, it was just amazing. And Jesus is the only way. He's the Son of God. Christianity is like so spiritual, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna say it's miracles, signs, and wonders. There's nothing like it. There's not absolutely nothing like it. And when I was reading the Quran, and when I was I'm so embarrassed to say this, when I was you know studying Islam, it was dark for me. It was super dark. And when I went back to Christianity, it was amazing, and my spiritual path is still growing until now. Like, I'm still always learning, but there is nothing like it. And I still apologize till this day for ever studying that, or going astray from Christianity, because there's nothing like it. So God wanted me to share this. And if you're a female or a male that's going through this, and you're around friends, you have friends, or whatever it is, you're being influenced, to just take it from me that Christianity is the only way, and just explore some more. I was like super young when I was doing that, and I think it was just more like I wanted to, follow the trend and just be like friends around me. But it wasn't the way that we should be. So, and it feels great to wear a dress in the summertime and do my hair. And after I did that, I started going to the beach. And I will look at people, like when I see the people like wearing the scarf, and the way they look at me, because I'm in a swimsuit at a beach, and I just know like what they're thinking, right? Because I lived it and I was there at one point, even though I'm European, grew up Christian. And I'm like, they're just under like a spell. Like, you're not even dealing with the flesh, it's principalities. And I'll tell you one thing is that that whole religion is based off of Jezebel. It's based off of lust. It's based off of materialistic stuff. And Jesus is King. He's the truth, the only way. And from my experience, I'm just going to say miracles, signs, and wonders. And no other religion has these three. So if you like my video, share it and give me a thumbs up. I did this because Jesus wanted me to put this video out here. He wanted me to share my experience. And if you know anybody that's going through this, share this video, because I've been through it. And yeah, so if anybody comes on here and you want to say like bad comments, because this is one thing that I was worried about with making this video, I will block or delete, and or I will turn the comments off, because this is my testimony from the Holy Spirit. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. So thank you for watching, and take care. God bless you. Bye bye.